Hello and welcome once again to Tileford for this part 2 of the March 2021 update. In part 1 we looked at the ballasting that's been done on the layout, as well as the progress with the overhead lines, the allotments that have been put in place, and some of the scenic work, including the disused siding and some of the industrial units. Today the focus is going to be on the side of the layout that you won't have seen yet, and it's mainly scenic work that I've been doing. So I hope that you enjoy the update. If you haven't seen part 1 of the update, then please do check that out as well and get yourself up to speed. Anyway, sit back and enjoy. So before I give you an update on what I've been up to in terms of the new side of the layout, I thought you might find it useful just to have a little bit of a recap of the layout, the scenic section at least so far. One of the main areas running down the side of the layout, of course, is the station area itself. So it starts off with the road bridge, which you can hopefully see at the end of the station there, which is a scenic break into the fiddle yard, and then we run along the station, which has got four lines and 3 platforms. Zoom out. As you go through the station, you can see we've got the town scene in a raised area running alongside the station, and then we start to come round the corner, which takes us up to the allotments, which I showed you in the first part of this update, and you can also see there the disused line and siding at the side there also. So moving round from the siding, we then come to another corner of the layout. In previous incarnations of the layout, I've always found it a little bit of a challenge really to know what to put in the corners of the layout. On Caversham Central, I had a fuel fuel depot which just never really got used, to be completely honest with you. So rather than putting track, I've just gone for something completely scenic, but I wanted to put something in place that I felt would be in keeping with the the look and the feel of the layout. So moving around, this brings us to the distribution centre. The units themselves are made by Wills, and it's 2 of their low relief kits that I've put together. The kits themselves can be used for a number of different kind of applications. You can have industrial units, or with extra bits you can make them into supermarkets. I have added the loading bays, which Wills sell separately, in order to come up with the distribution centre. And I've also added, if I just zoom in, hopefully you can see, there we go. I've added in some of the Gauge Master floodlights as well for lighting. The whole model I've painted with the airbrush using acrylic paints. It does need weathering up. Obviously it's a little bit too pristine at the moment, so a bit of work there to do to finish it off. The hard standing is a download from Scale Model Scenery, and I've also used the Scale Model Scenery paving on the edges of the yard. And whilst you can't really see it particularly well, I've also used the Scale Model Scenery curbs to just act as the point to differentiate the yard from the slightly more overgrown line side look. I've also used Scale Model Scenery line side fencing, which is a bit of a work in progress, but it gets most of the way around the curve. And I've also put in some additional floodlights, which I think I got from Kite's Lights. I picked them up at a show a couple of years ago, so I'm fairly sure it's from Kites. So let me pop the lights on, see what you think. Now, it's daytime in here, but hopefully you've seen them light up pretty well there. I actually think that they are a bit too bright. I put the resistors on the floodlights that came supplied, but I just think they're a little bit too in your face. So what I'll probably do is either just add some additional resistors or swap them out for something which maybe just dims them down a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see, but I also added internal lighting in the building itself and just put a counter with a, there we go, with a member of staff waiting to deal with any customers, and a bit of DHL branding in there also. It just ties in nicely with the vans, the DHL vans that I already had. So as I say, it's not finished yet. I need to finish fencing and a bit more work on the car parking, and as I said, I also want to get the whole unit weathered and sort out the lights a little bit. But hopefully you like what you're seeing there. It's not, I think, too cluttered, and I think provides quite a nice backdrop round this this curve of the layout. So on the near side of the layout opposite, as we sweep round, I've also been working on the scenic areas here, and starting off really with just an industrial unit. This is one of the Hornby Scaledale units that I'd had hanging around for a while actually. Again, I've used Scale Model Scenery concrete, sort of downloadable concrete for the flooring, and their curbstones to give it some sort of definition and edging. I also have used one of the Scale Model Scenery downloadable factory or company names. So this is now a carpet company as well as a shop fitters on the other side. Building itself is, it's absolutely fine. Again, it could benefit from some weathering. It looks a little bit clean at the moment. This unit has also given me the opportunity to display this old Ford truck that I bought from Graph Rail. It's in truth probably a little bit outdated for the layout. I'm not sure you see many of these on the road, but I liked it. It has got graffiti on one side and then a Banksy on this side. And given that Reading, where I live, got its own Banksy this week, it's probably quite a opportune moment to get it on display. So following on from the first industrial unit along the side of the line, I've put in place a number of small industrial units. Now these are all from either the Bachmann Scenecraft or the Hornby Scaledale range, and I think are representative of some of the sort of smaller businesses that you would see along the side of the railway line. I've used signage on a number of the units from Scale Model Scenery, and usual sort of good standard stuff from them. And you can also see that the line side fencing is this sort of rusted corrugated iron look fencing, which I got from Goodwood Scenics. I also bought a couple of the skips from Goodwood Scenics, and they came pre-painted. I also, in addition to that, bought a number of 3D printed skips off of eBay, and then sent them off to a mate of mine who is much better at weathering than me to give them the treatment required. So I hope you'll agree, they actually look, I think, absolutely fantastic. Certainly much better than I could have done. So really that's the side of the layout. Not really the best angle to film it from, to be honest, but hopefully you've got a sense of what I've been trying to achieve along the side of the main lines. What you can hopefully also see is just some of the detail that I've put along the line side. So there's obviously a couple of old rails, there's a pallet, there's some of the Bachmann aggregate bags, which I've just improved by putting a bit of glue on the top and popping some ballast into. There's also some rubbish, again from Scale Model Scenery, just to give it that kind of urban, messy look that we invariably see. The final project that I've been working on is this two-lane dual carriageway bridge, which acts as a scenic break at this end of the layout. Now I'm going to take no credit for this at all for the design, because I nicked it from a video that Wickford Lane put up a few months ago. So what I will do is, if you're interested in building a bridge similar to this, I'll put a link to his video which very clearly shows you what you need to do in order to produce one. So with this end view you can hopefully get a bit of a feel for how the bridge has been constructed. Essentially it's two pieces of skirting board which have then been glued to a central piece of wood in the middle. The bits I've added are just pieces of strip wood, so the central reservation and the side of the pavement here, and also the sill have all been put together just using, as I say, pieces of strip wood which I got from B&Q. The carriageway itself is just made out of mounting card, which I sprayed with primer and then various different shades of grey to give it that sort of realistic sort of asphalt look. The road markings, I just used a white paint pen which I got from Hobbycraft, and I also just added a few imperfections in the road with some felt tip pens. Overall I have to say I think the effect of the road is good and realistic. There's a number of items from Scale Model Scenery that I've also used on the road. The pavements are their MDF pavement, which are really easy to cut to size and to paint up. The railings are also from Scale Model Scenery. I've put those on the side and down the central reservation. I've also put some road signs on there, and from Scale Model Scenery you can download and then customise your own road signs, which is exactly what I've done here. And again, I think they look good. Just mounted them on a couple of pieces of brass, brass tubing, which I spray painted. I'm not sure how well it shows up, but I also have used the Scale Model Scenery concrete cladding for the underside of the bridge, and again gives that sort of realistic modern look. The bridge I painted in a couple of different types of paint. So on this upper part here I used textured paint from a spray can, again from B&Q. The remainder of the bridge I just used various concrete shades which I had lying around, all in acrylics, to give it a good look. It's not been really properly weathered yet. I might get round to it, I might not. I'll see how I feel. What I've also done, as you can see, is got the pens out and had a go at some more graffiti, which again is the sort of thing you're going to see on the real railway. Finally, I got myself a couple of sort of twin head LED lights off of eBay. These were fairly sort of cheap and cheerful, easy enough to wire up. They are actually straight-ish. So overall, I'm really happy with that as a scenic break at one end of the layout, and I think it's a nice contrast to the more traditional brick-built bridge, which is the scenic break at the station end of the layout. So in terms of what I'm going to be working on in the months ahead, as I mentioned on the first part of this update, I need to weather the track, and that's something that I'll be doing, I'd have thought fairly soon. I want to continue to do a bit more work on the distribution centre. It's not finished at all yet, so there's more work to be done there. The really big next job though is going to be along this side of the main line, and as you can probably see, I've already got one of the backman towers in place. This is going to be where the aggregate works will go. So I've got quite a lot of space to fill up there, which should should fill up the layout, I think, quite nicely without looking too busy. Now this is the aggregate works that I'm going to be putting together. It's a Fowler kit, and as you can probably imagine, it's going to take quite a long time to construct it and put it together. My hope is that it will actually fit along the side of the layout. I haven't actually measured it, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope for the best. So yeah, that certainly will be a big project for me over the course of the summer months. So that's it for this second part of the March 2021 update. I hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen, and I hope that you feel that the layout is coming together reasonably well. I will continue to work on the layout over the coming weeks and months, although obviously as we come out of this lockdown and as the weather starts to warm up, there's other things that I will be spending my time with. But I'll obviously, as soon as there's anything worthwhile showing you on the layout, then I will share that with you. In the meantime, please keep your comments and questions coming in. Always really enjoy seeing those and answering them. So please, if you've got anything you want to know or any suggestions, love to hear them. Also, if you're not subscribed, then please do click that subscribe button. Anyway, that's it for me for today. Thanks once again for checking in, and I hope to see you again really soon. Thanks a lot.